Hi, I'm Ethan, a New York-based organization development coach, and I work with organizations to unleash their people's untapped potential. Today's video is pretty specific. I want to talk about this thing that I've been seeing so much about on LinkedIn and other places about employee empowerment. People are throwing the phrase around, and to be honest with you, I don't think it's very helpful without diving into what that actually means to empower your employees. So get ready, buckle up, and please be sure to take copious notes that you can take away from this video immediately actionable strategies to achieve this thing called employee empowerment. So what's the first aspect of it, right? It's creating a culture of allowing, or dare I say, enabling your people to take risks without fear of retribution or fear of failure. That is such a debilitating culture where you create this hesitancy not to act, not to take risks because there may be punishment if you don't achieve a successful outcome. In fact, really great organizations, their cultures are built on celebrating the glorious nature of taking risks that lead to new ways to serve clients, new products or services, extending your reach into new market areas, pursuing possible partnerships or merger and acquisitions, maybe refining your operations, achieving efficiency to reduce costs. All of those benefits come when your people feel as if they're empowered to truly take risks that may lead to some positive outcome, or without calling it failure, maybe they don't achieve the desired outcome, but it's a learning culture. It's a learning environment. And by the way, when you recruit really talented people who are intrinsically motivated, they're self-driven, they want to achieve results, they're going to really want to take risks and work in an organization like yours, maybe, that celebrate risk taking. So that's the first aspect of empowerment, is enabling your people to take risks without labeling the failure that comes from missing the end result, without labeling it failure. Second is decision-making authority or autonomy. What that means is you've given your people complete control, complete ability to make decisions that are predicated on achieving desired outcomes. There's no micromanagement. There's no need for them to come and check in with you. They may solicit your feedback. They may ask you in a teachable moment to brainstorm with them. They may present multiple scenarios with the pros and cons of decision making, and they choose their desired approach. But that's them using you as a sounding board, not coming to you begging for approval. For decision-making to be valuable, it means all of your people need to feel as if they can make decisions that they, your team, and your organization can live with. So that's a second strategy for employee empowerment called decision-making. The third is coaching. And there's a very specific mindset in learning organizations and really great workplace cultures. Coaching is formal, where you structure time, you structure meetings, where you check in with your people, you give them coaching, but it's also ad hoc, or it's as needed in the moment. Coaching, typically when we think of coaching, has a negative connotation. Coaching is a way to alter somebody's performance, to change an undesirable outcome, right? So typically when we think of coaching, it's the need to adjust or modify or manipulate somebody's performance. The different way to think about coaching is it's a constant opportunity to share with your people, by giving them feedback, strategies that they can employ that are in the moment, timely, measurable. It's tied to a specific situation they faced, a task they had to perform, an action they took, and a result that they achieved. And so that's what empowered employees benefit from, is this thing called coaching as a methodology for empowerment. So that's the third strategy. The fourth is training and development. right? So what you do in a culture, an organization that truly embraces empowerment is you have ownership as the organization and as the leader of highly motivated, empowered people to sit with them and design and develop their career and professional development plans. It's a 1-year calendar, it's a 2-year, and it's a 5-year. Now, you may be thinking, well, hold on a second. We hired somebody to do work currently. Why would we, or is it putting the cart before the horse to do career and professional development for a 5-year career action plan? What if the person's not around? Here's an idea. You should not be hiring any individual that you don't anticipate them being with you for the long term. And this is the work that I do coaching and consulting organizations, is to rethink talent acquisition and retention, because people are not assets in this model of empowerment. People are your only lasting competitive advantage. So we assume that you brought in these rock star performers so that you can empower them to achieve success, which drives their performance and their productivity. And there's a straight line measurable outcome, which is increased profitability. So this strategy of training and development is on the job training. So that's skills and necessary performance increase for the work that they're tasked for doing in their current role. So that's on the job training. But there's another associated aspect of training and development, which is professional development. And so if you have to think about that, historically it was called soft skills, which sounds a little bit pejorative, meaning fluffy. No, professional development skills are all the characteristics, qualities, and attributes you look for and you recruit for and you develop in people who are rising stars. So the training may be on the job, or it may be a skill, discipline, software, accreditation, certification associated with a role. That's the training piece. And the professional development is to think about them, the individual, in a future capacity that unleashes untapped potential that they possess. And I typically do this in my consulting by conducting what's called the human capital audit, where I look at people, the roles, responsibilities they're doing in their current job, and where you are really tapping into their skills, background, experience, language proficiency, education, volunteer work, community engagement, all those other things that they may possess that are lying dormant in them because they're not being utilized by your organization to tap into their full potential. So that's training and development as an empowerment technique. The next step in the employee empowerment suite of skills that your organization can bring to bear is funding their ideas. For 30 plus years, I've been doing this in organizations, is you create an idea generation or employee fund me program. And so you allocate for 2 calendar years, current calendar year you're in, where you're going to launch it and learn from mistakes, learn as you implement it in your organization. And then the next year where you've pre-funded to give yourself some cushion to grow into this program. An idea generation program is just what it sounds like. It's soliciting your people's ideas, because remember, your employees, your frontline staff, the ones doing the work, understand how to do it most productively. And so idea generation programs is creating a cross-functional and all 3 levels of the organization review committee, where they get together after you launch this idea generation program inside your organization to, on a regular recurring basis, this team gets together to review ideas that were provided by your people. And ideas hit both aspects of your organization's financial performance. Top line is revenue generation. What does that look like? Well, it's new products, new services, cross-selling existing products or services to clients who aren't currently utilizing them, upselling, which is to offer new services or products. It's coming up with new markets, new geographic new market areas. It's coming up with features and functionalities that you can tear out of an existing service or product and offer as a standalone offering. So the revenue generation is the top line, and you're soliciting ideas from your people on how to drive revenue in that area. Then the other side is bottom line idea generation. So how do you maximize your operational efficiency? Well, since your people are closest to work, you want to solicit ideas from them on how to perform more efficiently. How do you automate processes? How do you combine disparate steps? How do you bring together different teams to collaborate? So there's a whole bunch of operational efficiency that comes with the ability to solicit ideas from your employees to have a bottom line impact on your financial performance. So I want to talk a little bit about empowerment from an aspect of talent management that a lot of organizations don't think about. And so talent acquisition means hiring people who you, through behavioral interviewing processes, you've identified during the interview process individuals who have already exhibited a track record of being intrinsically motivated, that they have achieved success because they're driven to take ownership of their own work, their own careers. And so how do you achieve this during the recruiting process? You restructure your interview questions to ask them to talk about a time where they've exhibited leadership skills, where they took ownership of a project, where they engaged in volunteer work, or they were active in their communities, where they took a project lead, maybe it was in school, where they exhibited leadership qualities, where they were creative in solving problems, exhibited critical thinking. These are all the skills of the kinds of people that you want to bring into your organization. They thrive working independently, and they're successful collaborating. They work well in predefined formal structures where there's maybe existing administrative hierarchy in your organization, or maybe you're a startup, or maybe you have chaos, uncertainty, constant transforming or transformational markets, external threats or opportunities. You want people who have exhibited a track record of success, adapting and being flexible and thriving in uncertainty. So that's the kind of skills that you're looking for, where you can bring somebody in and deliver this kind of employee empowerment because they've already proven historically from a track record of success that they feel comfortable in an environment in which you're giving up trust and control and autonomy of them, because they are driven, pathologically driven by themselves to perform and produce at a high level. This then gets to the final tip or strategy for today around employee empowerment, and that's delegation. And delegation, for it to be successful, has to be performed in a very precise manner. The first is you need to communicate to the individual or your individuals who look up to you, report to you, that you're going to be delegating work to them. So you have to frame level set their expectations that at some point in time, a specific project, specific tasks are going to come to them. Then through some of the other things I talked about, coaching, mentoring, training and development, you're going to prepare them for this work that's going to be delegated to them. They need to have all the skills, support, resources, communication, everything they need to be prepared. And then you're going to sit with them in a coaching moment and a teaching moment, or over time. You're going to work with them to receive this work. You're going to then give them the opportunity, I talked about it earlier, to fail greatly, to take risks without fear of retribution. You're going to coach them in the moment as they're taking on these new tasks. So you're supporting them in the work being delegated, but you're not going, it's kind of like a boomerang, right? I don't want you to throw it out, delegate it, and then it comes back to you. So what that looks like in practical terms is when you're sitting with somebody to delegate work, they now understand that this is work that's coming to them, that they have been empowered and are responsible for taking on. You've given them the resources, support, training, coaching. You've introduced them to other individuals that they may have to collaborate with. But the understanding now is once it's theirs, they own it. And so what that sounds like in practice is I've delegated a task or multiple tasks to an individual. She or he, they understand what's expected of them. They're given the tools and the support to accomplish it. And then so as they figure out, given a specific challenge or situation, there's a number of options they have to pursue. They have now been empowered to come up with the pros and the cons for each potential solution. So if I'm faced with a particular challenge, let's say launching an existing product to a new segment, a new industry or sector. I've got three possible ways that I can launch this existing product to this new segment. If I do option one, here's what the positive or potential negative outcomes are. If I pursue option two, here's the potential positive, negative outcomes. Maybe the third potential outcome if I launch this product to this segment, what are the pros and cons? So now I've identified the potential outcomes associated with taking ownership of this work and making a decision. I've vetted each of those three possible solutions for the negative and positive impact. I can now come back to you, my leader, and say, this is the first time I'm doing it. This is how I would do it. If I take this approach, these are the pros or cons. That's why I'm not in favor of option one. Option two, this is what it would look like. These are potential pros and cons. That's why I'm not in favor, because the risk far outweighs the potential reward. And option three is blah, blah, blah. These are the potential pros. These are the potential cons. I'm in favor of moving forward with this because it's minimal potential adverse or negative impact. There's a low risk, and there's a large lucrative potential return on our investment of bringing in an entirely new, a new client base by offering this existing product with minimal feature functionality adjustments to an entirely new segment of our market. I am going to move forward with option three. What should I know or be aware of, or what resources do you think I should leverage? That is delegation when you know you've done it right. So let's recap. We talk a lot, you hear a lot about employee empowerment. It's an abstract thing until you start to identify what are the tools in your leadership empowerment toolkit to really engage your top performers and unleash their untapped potential. One, encourage risk-taking, embrace glorious failure. Two, decision-making authority. People have to feel comfortable that they are trusted, that they are allowed to make decisions, and they're accountable for owning the results of their decision making while you are supporting them fully. Three, coaching. Coaching is a very potentially positive impact. There is a very structured way to do it. That's the third strategy. Training and development. Training is on the job and/or possible future required skills, experience, and professional development is sitting with that individual employee to come up with a 1, 2, and 5-year career plan. Funding their ideas. I call it an idea generation program. And if you want to talk to me, reach out to me after you watch the video. We can talk through a strategy on how to create a test pilot program for a 2-year funded employee idea generation or greenhouse funding initiative. Hire people who have exhibited a track record of success, performing at a high level, being highly productive, by being the kind of people that you can trust enough to give up this control, this autonomy, and empower them. It's very simple when you completely re-architect your hiring process to be on the lookout for people who have demonstrated a track record of success. The next is delegation. That's another tool. That's another strategy for giving people the training, the autonomy, the experience, the freedom, the guidance, all of those skills for you to delegate work to them so that it can expand their existing roles and responsibilities and leverage up until now unutilized skills that that individual possesses. So I hope you found this video on employee empowerment useful. Please, if you like the video, be sure to like it, share it with other people who you think can benefit. And if you like the kind of content that I'm producing on the Chasing the Dream on the Chasing Group YouTube channel, please be sure to subscribe and share the channel with other people. There's over 350 similar videos on how you can advance your own career and professional development and unleash your people's untapped potential while building an amazing workplace culture. Thanks for coming in and checking out the video. Best of luck in all your future business and professional pursuits.